Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dark Horse Rowing. As always, I'm Shane Farmer. This is John Healy. You know him. You love him. We're starting a new web series that we are calling Toolbox Talks. This is going to be a bit of a mini series where we will be introing things that we like to keep in our toolbox as coaches that you as an athlete or a coach can kind of use as like quick recall points. So that is what today is about, is our first Toolbox Talk. Let's get inside and check it out. So in today's episode, guys, what we're talking about is the mindset that we both use like when we're stepping into any kind of workout, right? Before we step foot on the erg itself, the rower itself, the rowing machine, indoor rower, whatever you want to call it.
Anything you want to call it.
Yeah.
The key concept is, how do you prepare yourself?
Right.
So when you sit down on that piece of kit and you sort of start thinking about what your session is and what you want to achieve from that, and you know how that's going to feel at the end of that session, what you do is kind of put yourself in that kind of mindset of, how am I going to get the best from this?
Right.
Yeah. How am I going to kind of achieve what I want to achieve?
Right.
If I'm going to use it, then I need to make sure that my mind's in the right mind space to have a good music beat there with me, and ensure that for that whole session I am not going to get distracted by anything else that's going on inside my head.
Yeah.
I say music because I've often used podcasts.
Yep.
I've big proponent of the idea of sitting there and trying to upskill, make sure that you're kind of learning as you're doing something.
Yeah.
If that session's not right for it and you're sitting down and you've got your head going with someone talking and someone else conversing and everything going on at the same time, let's be honest, that session's not going to work.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than bad music or not the right mood for what you are doing in that session.
100%.
I have had sessions where I chose a podcast and the guest was boring and I'm in this high intensity workout, I need to get work done, and it's like the person is in my ear trying to make me go slower because of how boring the conversation is.
Yeah.
Right? And so exactly what you're saying is, I would say number one, cue up your surroundings.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Clear the surroundings, make sure that you have music set, that you're not going to have somebody walk in on you, that you don't have any, like, no calls that you have to answer, no other responsibilities other than the thing that you have in front of you. Let's call that number one.
That focus. Let's just keep it as simple as, I want to make sure that my focus is on my session. I know what I've got to achieve, and I know by the time that session's finished, I've had a productive session that's had no interruptions, and I can log it, walk away, and think, okay, that's worth it.
So now number two, and I'll lead with what my number two is here, because my number one is very much the same. Number two for me is making sure that I've identified with my goals for that particular workout. In my head, I'm saying, this is how far, this is the time, these are my splits, whatever it may be. I'm saying this is what I need to accomplish. I understand what it's gonna feel like because I've already thought that through, so I've almost kind of run the workout through in my head, and I'm committing to what my end goal is. So if I know my target splits are, I'm in my head saying, oh, this is not gonna be fun, but I know I'm gonna do it. I'm anchoring that moment in my brain so that when it gets hard, I've already had that discussion with myself, and then I don't have an easy out. Because it's very easy without that discussion to get up and start like bumping up on that challenging point and go, you know what, nobody else is here to catch me on it. I'll just like back off a little bit.
Or we'll just kind of release and kind of just walk away. Yeah, I completely agree. I think for me, I've seen so many sessions that have been written with the best intentions.
Right.
I've seen guys sit down on those ergs, and as soon as that moment hits where you see the pressure start to build, you see the technique start to kind of dip slightly, straight away mentally, that's the thing that goes. It's that idea that it's getting hard. And guess what? It's meant to get hard.
Right. For those of you that don't know this, let's take a moment to pause.
Sure.
When we're writing workouts, it's intended to be hard. So many people are like, why was today's workout so hard? You're like, well, because that's the point of it at times. At times. Not always, but it varies, right? Some days, like, I want you to just feel good. Other days, I want you to question why I'm writing workouts that way because it's that challenging. Okay, let's keep it at 3.
Okay.
Because I feel like 3 is a nice number to like let people anchor their head. So, so number 1, you set the scene.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you get that focus, and we
right.
make sure that there's nothing in the way of us distraction-wise. There's nothing there that's going to put us off or make us have to restart or anything along those lines.
Number 2 is identifying with your goals and making sure that they are clear and anchored in your mind.
Yep, definitely.
Number 3, what's your number 3?
Biggest thing is knowing what the outcome needs to be and committing to that outcome. As I sit there and as I say to myself, I've got 30 minutes of rowing ahead of me, knowing that for those 30 minutes, I need to ensure that every single thing that I've put there as a roadblock or as whatever in front of me dissipates and disappears. And I have that mental focus all the way through. So in reality, all I need to do is sit and look at that screen. I don't need to sit and look around and focus whatever else is going on. Keep checking on the whiteboard what my numbers should be and then make sure the monitor says the same thing to me. Just hit those numbers and commit to it.
And I find that when I'm in the middle of a workout often, the deeper I get into the workout, the more resolute I become in knowing that I will accomplish what I set out to do. And it's always the pre-workout where the questions are aplenty. And I sit there and I'm pondering over what's going to happen. Am I going to pull it off? Do I even want to do this? And all that melts away once the workout starts.
And again, honestly, that's natural. The amount of times that I've sat there and I've questioned, do I actually want to do this workout or not?
Oh God,
100% of the time, I will sit there and have to have that real kind of focus talk with myself to say, John, if you don't do this, you've wasted a session. I am not going to get that time back to redo it all over again. And all the prep work that's gone in to kind of get into that point where everything's set, all good to go, has now just been wasted.
For those of you that are doing your workouts in your basement, that are doing it before your family wakes up, many of you are doing that. Those are the hard times. It's 5 a.m., nobody else is awake, it's dark outside in the dead of winter, and you're in your basement. And you're sitting there staring at the erg, knowing what your workout is supposed to be. That in and of itself is a huge hurdle. And exactly what we're talking about, this tool that goes in our toolbox is that mindset preparation. And I think pretty easily you can walk yourself through it. You just also need to understand that that is a piece of the workout. So it's not just that this is a thing we do. It's that this becomes a part of every workout that you do. It becomes a part of the habit. And I think a lot of people let the mental piece escape what their workouts are, and they just say, like, you just show up, do the workout, and you just, whatever the results are, the results are. However, I think there's a lot more value to saying, I have my own habit system to accomplish my workout.
And that mental rehearsal, let's be honest, I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that for those 30 minutes, we've got to put focus in. We've got to make sure that there's no distractions. That's a kind of given to us. But it's only us that can make that machine move. Nobody else is going to come in and start doing it for you. Need that kind of mentality of we're here till the end to really kind of pass through. And again, sessions suck, but think of the good that kind of comes from that.
The value that you get.
And the value that's kind of perceived. As soon as you put that handle down, you get up, you check, you log it, job done.
So guys, those are our 3 mental preparation tips for our first toolbox talk. I hope there'll be a lot more in this series to come, but I would say that that's a solid number 1. That's a good way. That's a good place to start. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. So guys, as always, if you found value in this video, I really would appreciate it if you would consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you really love it, make sure that you hit the little bell next to it, the little bing, because that means that you'll get alerted every single time we come out with a new video. You will be the first to watch and the first to hear about it. And if you love it further from there, you can share it and send it to all your friends and all those people that you know need a little bit of a mental prep talk. So guys, as always, thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you on the other side.